During this past weekend, I clocked a lot of driving miles in my car, and during that drive, I listened to the radio quite a bit. And one of the stories that I heard was pretty interesting. And since I wanted to have more discussions with you guys, let's talk about it. Mexico City, one of the first Latin American countries to legalize gay marriage, is now proposing temporary marriages. Thousands of years ago, this was known as hand fasting, where a couple could say, hey, we're a couple, and then after 1 year and 1 day, they could renew their coupleship if they so desired. If it didn't last that first year, they could just walk away with whatever they walked into the relationship with, no harm, no foul. And there's legislation in Mexico City that wants to give this a try, mainly citing that it will make divorces a lot less messy, a lot less horrendous, and barely cost any money to do. They say 50% of marriages in Mexico City end in divorce, and most of those happen before the first 2 years. Does that statistic sound familiar, America? So what the legislation is trying to do is go about acknowledging reality and let the couples dissolve their marriage without bringing in a huge legal battle. Under the bill, the couples have an option of signing a marriage contract that would last 2 years. Once the term is about to end, they have the option of renewing. The contract will also specify what was owned jointly and what was owned by each spouse. It also states who would get custody of the kids and who would get the benefits. While I do think that marriage should be something long-term, I do kind of think that this is a good idea in theory. With a 50+% divorce rate, it's obvious that people either don't want to or can't work on their marriage problems, at least within society's current framework. If America was to adopt this idea, we would save a ton of money if a marriage would just dissolve after time. And everybody knows that the court system is always tied up in divorce filings. Granted, a person shouldn't get married to test the waters of a relationship. I mean, that's what dating's for. But it's obvious that something isn't working because half of marriages are ending in misery. I'd say anything we can do to give marriage a shot is a good thing. And I've heard people say, oh, this is just a backdoor way out of a bad situation. They just don't want to work on their problems, blah! And I say, nay. I just think of it in terms of sports, which is weird because I really don't care too much about sports. But if I was worried about my wife ending our relationship contract thingy in like the next few months, it would make me try so much harder. I'd wash the dishes, do the laundry. What's that? Little Susie needs picked up after her soccer game? I'm already there. Bam! Husbanded. I believe in marriage, but I also believe in human fallibility. And I mean, this is an interesting idea. And I know a lot of you want to preserve the sanctity of marriage, but if this bill goes through, there's no denying that the real marriages are going to persist, and the false, fake, stupid marriages are just gonna fall by the wayside and fail. And it'll leave society with a more solid concept of what a successful marriage looks like. And with a solid model to emulate, there will be more marriages like that, and sanctity will be restored. Really interested in hearing what you guys have to say. I know a lot of you guys are not going to agree with this bill. I figure it's going to be like a 40-60 split or something like that, which is good, because I want to have more discussions like this. I want to talk about topics that just don't have one blind side. But yeah, I know I have a lot of viewers that have been married, have had divorces, and are still in high school, so there's a wide selection of people that watch this. So, let me know what you guys think. Should this bill be passed in Mexico City? Should America adopt this bill? Do you think it would help people figure out what they're supposed to do with their life, if they're supposed to be with this person, or is that what dating is like? Or do you think this would help before a couple wants to have kids? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. Give me a lot of answers. I'll see you guys later.